Hi. So this question is asking you to do the following calculations and express the answers in scientific notation. And of course, as with all mathematical calculations, when you express in scientific notation, or just with any answer actually, you want to have the correct number of significant digits. So we're also going to try to account for that as well. So let's look at the first question here. We have 145.75 plus open parentheses 2.3 times 10 to the negative 1 close parentheses. So here we want to do what is in the parentheses first. So 2.3 times 10 to the negative 1. So when you multiply by something that is to the power of negative 1, you're decreasing that number, right? It's smaller than it's going to become smaller. So since it's 10, we're just going to move the decimal point 1 to the left because we're making it smaller. And of course, that'll be 0.23. So we get 145.75 plus 0.23. Okay, and this comes out to, of course, we just do the addition. It will be 145.98. Now, as you can see, we didn't round anything, but that's because when we do addition, right, we look at the least number of decimals and we round to that number. But since both of our add-ins here have the same number of decimals, as you can see by 2 decimals here, 7.5, and then 2 decimals here, 2.3, we only need 2 decimals in the ending answer, so we don't have to round anything. But now let's convert it to scientific notation. So it'll be 1.4598. Now that is the general notation, but now we can multiply it by something, right? Multiply 10 to the something power. What power should that be? What power do we need to multiply this number here? Sorry, this number here to get to this number. We need to multiply this by 100, right? Because 2 decimal points to the left or 2 decimal points to the right from this one, and we'll get to this one. So times 10 to the second power because it's 100. So 1.4598 times 10 to the second power. Now let's look at this second question here. We have 79,500 divided by open parentheses 2.5 times 10 to the 2 close parentheses. So for this one, it's different than the last question because the last question we wanted to do what was in the parentheses first, right? But here we actually don't want to simplify it because when you do division, you want to convert everything to scientific notation because then you can cancel out a lot of the 10 powers that are in the question. So what I mean by that is I'm going to give a little example here at the bottom. Let's say I simplified to 1 times 10 to the 2 over 1 times 10, right? Now, actually, this is very easy to cancel out because you can see I have 10 to the 2 on top and 10 on the bottom. So I can just cancel this out, and then the top just becomes 10, right? And the bottom is still 1. So because of that, we want to convert everything to scientific notation so we can cancel numbers like that. So back to the question. Let's convert the top number, 79,500, to scientific notation. So it's 7.95 times 10 to the 4 over still 2.5 times 10 to the 2. And we're going to cancel this one out. This one just becomes, the bottom one is just gone, but the second one is reduced to the 2 power. And we just plug this to our calculator. So 7.95 times 10 to the 2 divided by 2.5. And you should get 318. Now, as you can see, you want to, actually, I'm going to do this in a scientific notation since we already know what it's going to be. So 3.18 times 10 to the 2. Now we actually aren't done here. We actually need to round it. Why? Because let's look at our first part here. What's our least significant digits here? The bottom one, right? We have 2 significant digits, 2.5, and our answer right now has 3. So we need to round it to 2 significant figures. So we're going to round it to this place, right? This place right here. So it'll be actually 3.2 times 10 to the 2. So our answer. Okay. So pretty simple. Let's look at our next one. We have 7 0.0 times 10 to the negative third minus 8.0 times 10 to the negative fourth. Now here, what we want to do is we want to convert these two numbers into the same unit of scientific notation. So what I mean by that is this first number is done with respect to 10 to the negative third. This one is done with respect to 10 to the negative fourth. So what would be easier here is to make this one here, this number, the second number, with respect to 10 to the negative third, so that we can just subtract them and just keep the 10 to the negative third. Okay. So it's almost like we're moving the decimal point to the same place so that we can subtract them normally. Okay. So let's convert that second number to 10 to the negative third. You'll see what I meant by what I just said in a second. So if we want to convert this 10 to the negative third, we have to move the decimal place to the left, right? So we're going to do 0.8 times 10 to the negative third. Now, as you can see, all we really have to do is just subtract these two numbers here, and then we can just keep the 10 to the negative third in our answer, and it's already going to be in scientific notation. So 7 minus 0.8, 6 point, oh, sorry, actually for this answer right here, it's still going to have two significant digits. So 6.2 times 10 to the negative third. So that's perfect, right? Two significant digits, and we didn't really have to convert anything to scientific notation because it was already in scientific notation. It's pretty nice. Now for this next question. Okay, so this is actually easier than the other questions we've done so far because you can pretty much just multiply everything together, and it's going to be two significant digits, and it's basically still going to be in scientific notation. We don't need to adjust anything because this first number is 1. So this isn't going to really change too much. So basically, you just plug everything in together and multiply it. It should get out to 10 or 9.9 times 10 to the 10. Okay, so this is actually the easiest one by far. Just a lot of plugging into your calculator and you should get it right. So yeah, significant digits and sign notation is something that's very important in just math and in science in general. So it's very important for you to get this down. And I hope this was helpful and allowed you to understand things a little bit better. Thank you.